evening, everyone.
No,
Not yet.
Katie doesn't like the
Okay.
brownies, so.
No, I knew they're so delicious.
Oh,
Yeah. But there's something there, you know what I mean?
Okay, now you're live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Parks and Recs Commission meeting. It's June 6th, 2022. It's 7:07. Beth Ashbaugh, Chair. Carolyn Marks, Co-Chair. We'll do roll call. I'm like, brain right now is sort of mush. Okay. All right. Beth Ashbaugh, present. Caroline Marks.
present.
Brett Heindel.
Present.
Libby Cudmore.
Present.
Trevor Huntsman.
Present.
Katie Lupari Shu.
Present.
Lou Lancy.
Here.
Thank you. Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from May?
Yes.
Everybody okay with that? Who would like to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. We have no petitioners at the.
You have to vote on that.
Yeah.
You have to vote on that?
Oh,
Accept the
we
minutes?
did. Oh, no, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Lou's done this before.
Do we do petitioners first? And then
Yes.
report?
We have Ari here.
Hi.
Hi, Ari. Welcome. Thank you.
Ari, you want to give a little brief report to them about what you want to do? It can be very brief, Ari. You don't have to go a half an hour or anything.
No, I'll try. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me, and thank you for serving our community. First of all, I want to apologize because I think I did something out of the protocol until Lou called me and said, Ari, put down, you don't have permission yet.
Oh, you're
So people had already gone on Facebook. As far as I was concerned, the fact that I'd gotten the permission for the pavilion from downstairs, that was as good as the first time, so forgive me for that. But I did put on my banners and told my friends on Facebook to put down their flyers. So this is a fifth grade community picnic that I am organizing for. I decided to use the same slide that I used for the school district when I presented before them. To say I wanted to do it as an annual thing. I believe that the fifth grade, the school district is doing a lot in middle school and high school. But I thought of it that there's nothing for the fifth graders because we are under the assumption that they're still kids. They don't know much. Let's wait till they get to middle school. But unfortunately, these kids are grown. They are doing things more than you and I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't hear it from you, they're hearing it from their friends, they're hearing it from their ping-pings or their computers, necessary evils that we cannot do without. My son is having, challenges with his development. Part of what helps him with his speech is his tablet. So it's a necessary evil. I can't take that from him, but at the same time, sometimes I hear him say things like, shit, and I'm like, where did you hear that from? Even the cartoons now have those words. Disney has to be extreme even with what the kids are learning. So I believe that fifth grade is a time to talk to our kids about their future, about middle school, about what they are going to be transiting into. And the other researcher that says 0 to 12 years is the best time to get a child, and after that, most of them are already developed. Well, fifth grade is that age. The least age in fifth grade is 10 years. My daughter is 10. She's going to 11 in June. She's going to 11 next week. And the oldest in fifth grade, I did my research, is 13. So these children between age 8 years, 7 years, 5 years from now, they will be adults and accountable to the state, to the federation. Some of them earlier than that, because the Supreme Court has cases, US also stands, that minors can now be treated as adults in certain offenses. So some of us parents are protecting our children, understandably so. I don't query anybody's choices in parenting. But how much are we thinking that our children don't know. My ears are full with what my daughter has come to tell me about what is happening in their school. So I thought of doing this as I searched nationwide. There's nothing like this. I thought I'd like to do this for the community and, let these 5th graders understand what the law is. That they're not just there for mom and dad to run all over the place. Teachers, they go to school, teachers run all over the place. Janitors clean after their mess and they just sit there feeling so entitled. I beg your pardon, you are not entitled. You have a role to play. As a child, you have a role to play. What is your role in community? It's simple. Respect. Consider other people. Respect into safety for other people. Respect in terms of your words, your use of racial slurs. Respect in terms of how somebody else's mother comes to teach you and you talk to a teacher so rudely. Respect in terms of your next friend to make because he or she is a special ed child that doesn't understand much or is developmentally impaired. You feel, why are you so slow? And things like that. Or the person is a different skin color, the person just doesn't think like you. So our kids, people are doing wonderful things in the middle school, like I said. Faith, a friend of mine, she's doing wonderful with diversity and all of that. They're doing kindness issues in the middle school and all of that. I want to be able to arouse those programs starting now. In simple words, I say nip it in the bud. I'm trying to nip it in the bud at this stage and say, hey you guys, heads up. Your body parts are not only changing, there's not only a paradigm shift in your metabolism because you're going through puberty. There's a paradigm shift even in the law. Once you leave elementary school into middle school, the umbrella is taken half off. The law here, suspension at most. Very, very limited cases will it get into anything that has to do with felony. But once you go to middle school, suspension is not an option. Wittenberg would be called. It has to be a police case, it could be a civil case. But many parents don't understand and they don't know that. That you could actually use a racial slur innocently, and I would say my child was emotionally abused by that, and I can prove it to the court through a psychological evaluation or a test, and the court can award thousands of damages in civil proceedings. Yes, that can happen, but our parents don't know that. Neither do our kids. They are trying their bodies. And how did I know this? My kid made a wrong choice, and I decided, I was going to talk about it with her and all of that. And I thought, okay, let me share it with 1 or 2 people. And everybody's like, let's do it. It's something that we would be excited. I mean, kids really, 5th graders are really pushing their buttons. And then I thought it was just one school. And then I spoke to 2 principals, and the 2 principals said, oh my God, I don't know what's up with the 5th graders. And the excuse was, oh, it's the COVID. But like I told several people, it cannot be the COVID. Kindergartners, 1st graders, 2nd graders, 3rd graders, and 4th graders that are younger than them went through the same COVID. How come they are not misbehaving? These guys, maybe it's their hormonal imbalances. Women who have given birth would understand how hormones can make you go, oh, sometimes you're just not, So are these hormonal imbalances, because most of them are in their puberty, early puberties, responding to their choices? And if we don't nip it in the bud, are these children likely to go to middle school and be wilder and think that, oh well, nobody noticed when I did it in high school, in elementary school, so I can get away with it in middle school, and cause a bit of a problem. And if we don't do it now, unfortunately, whatever programs they have in the middle school and high school, maybe just half of them, but now we have both here. We can direct them in the way that they would go. So what I'm doing with this, basically, is, this is a logo of the t-shirt that I want to give them at the park. I went around seeking, even though I'm a for-profit organization, it's a non-profit venture that I want to do, and I tagged social studies in the park. Why did I say it so? Because I wanted to connect them to something that is fundamental to their education, as well as something fundamental to society. So I thought, we the people, how do you bring law and culture together to explain to children the importance of the beauty of diversity and the component of the law? Because that is my forte, law. So say, okay, you have rights. What are your rights? I have explained here, how I intend to tell them about their rights. Your freedom to make choices that make you happy, but also makes another person, that does not make another person sad. That's how I have been able to define law for the kids. And when I'm telling them about 3 Supreme Court cases where middle schoolers made choices, or teenagers like them, or preteens like them, made choices that parents, and I would love for the parents to be part of it. I told a friend of mine, I said, if you don't come to the park for this event after I will not talk to you again. And the truth is, I said to him, I said, it's important because the parents made this case go to the Supreme Court, and they're challenging and fighting for their children. And they said, oh, the school district interfered with my child's right to fair hearing and speech. And the Supreme Court said, no, the school district did right. Okay, so your child's right ends where another child's rights begin. So this basically is a nutshell of what I want to do with the kids. And I have 5 speakers. George Burns is presenting. Dr. Bloom, Beth Bloom is presenting. Dr. Ashford Howard is presenting. Dr. Ruben Salinas, fine art. He's, like he said, he's not talking. He's just, and the reason I'm particular about his aspect is for the special ed children who really can't talk and express themselves. He's just teaching the children art. So he's not saying a word. He's just doing, they're just painting. I have this black canvas you say denim, where the kids would just splash paints and say in the midst of the darkness around the wall or whatever, there's still light, there's still color, in everything, and just scream ourselves away. So that's what I want to do for the community.
So Area is requesting Saturday, June 11th. She's already rented the pavilion. On the calendar I gave you, this is an event that I put on the calendar because it's happening the 11th, which is this weekend. And so I put it on the calendar with with your approval pending. So this and another event I put on. So and she has applied. She has presented me with insurance. So from my perspective, there's no reason not to approve this. But
Okay, all right, questions? Any questions?
I have more of a comment than a question. Judge Toby has a deep, deep understanding of all of these things, and I think that she will do a tremendous job in this. So I very much look forward to seeing how this comes out.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve this usage. Any second?
I'll second it.
Sure, second. Any oppositions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Very good.
Banners are coming up in 10 minutes.
you did good.
Thank you so much.
If any of you would like to stop over, it would be wonderful. 12:30 to 3:30. I mean, just come in. We got bouncing castles, and the community is awesome.
Yeah.
Community has contributed a lot. I have about $500 and something right now. Less than that, because a lot is going into publicizing, which I wish the school district had helped me with that. Then the children would have more cotton candy and stuff. But
Thank you.
have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Shiloh was supposed to attend. I don't know what happened to her. I'm going to present this for her. I'm sure something just came up. Shiloh is a personal trainer, and she's very enthusiastic and bubbly, and she is, I don't know if any of you know, her mom is, oh man, her name just went out of my head. She's a professor at Hartwood College, but anyway, Shiloh sat down and talked with me, and this is going to be a great program. She was talking to some people at the dog park, and they were interested in doing some fitness stuff in the park, and so she would like to do some fitness stuff in the park. She wants to do Saturday mornings from 6 to 8 a.m. And I told her anybody that can get up that early and do fitness stuff should be able to do it. She wants to do fitness by the fountain on the walkway. I don't think this is going to interfere with anyone else. There's just one date on here. I'm not going to let her do July 2nd because we had that section of the park shut off for the fireworks on the 4th, and I don't want them climbing over obstacles to get over there, so, but this looks like a great thing in the park if you all are okay with it.
Okay.
She's a certified trainer, so
Does she need, to rent anything or like?
she's done her application. She sent me insurance that I can't read, but she'll send another insurance form, so it's also on your calendar as an event pending your approval. Just because it starts right away as well,
Saturday.
so.
Anybody questions or anything we want to ask?
The only thing that I don't know that I wanted her to answer tonight is I don't know if she's charging people. I would guess she is for the classes, so I don't know the answer to that one. It doesn't usually matter to us, but
Okay.
that I don't know.
If you could maybe email her and just double check.
Well, I'm sure she is. I mean, she's a personal trainer. I mean, I don't think she's doing it out of the kindness of her heart, but maybe she is.
Yeah,
I can ask her.
yeah, I mean, just because you wanted to, be.
I mean, I don't need to know unless you all want to know, so.
Is she going to do some advertising for it? Lou?
I don't know. She probably has a Facebook page.
Okay, oh, yeah, true.
I'm guessing she has a Facebook page. She said she had a bunch of people that were interested, so I'm guessing she's asked around. So,
So it's just going to be, like, do you know what type of fitness she's going to do? Just
I don't
curious.
know. I'm guessing she has a variety of people of differing abilities, so there might be a number of things. So, but I don't know that.
Okay, motion for approval? Brett?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Okay. All, any opposition? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And I don't see Bryce Wooden here. He's the EOP counselor from SUNY Oneonta. He's talked to me, emailing back and forth several times about wanting to bring students, a pretty good sized group of students, I think 80 to 90 students, to the park on these 2 days. He wanted the pavilions, but both large pavilions are rented those days. And so I recommended to him that he attend the Eco Fair on July 9th. That'll give his students a good idea of what's available in the park. It's a new event, so having people at that. So I don't think he's gonna need your approval. I think that's probably why he's not here tonight. He's probably just gonna bring them to that event.
Oh. Are you Shiloh?
I'm Victoria Spataro.
Oh, okay.
So is this with classes, do we make a motion?
I don't think you need to.
Okay.
I think he's just gonna come to that event. I called today and left him a message in his office. He didn't get back to me, just to remind him.
Okay.
So I didn't remind Shiloh, so I guess maybe I should have,
Okay.
but she and I just talked recently, so I thought she would remember.
Okay.
The last time I talked to her, she was on a beach in California, so maybe she stayed there, I don't know. I wouldn't leave a beach in California either, but. The only other thing is I had a gentleman call me today from Leather Stocking Baseball. He thought he might come tonight. They used to have an L screen on field 6. They've never requested it in the past. An L screen is something to protect the pitcher. When you do batting practice, it's shaped in an L, so it protects the pitcher. We used to have one on field 6. I've checked with the guys. I have not heard back yet. I suspect it just got so old that we discarded it. But perhaps in our new project that we will have for this fall in refurbishing that field, maybe we can budget for an L screen next year. I have no idea what they cost. I'm guessing somewhere in the neighborhood of $400 to $500. But, and that's what I told him. I told him if I found out that it had just been put someplace, we'd make sure to get it back. But I also told him if that's something you want, you need to request it so that we know to have it available.
The one next to the skate park?
I'm sorry?
Which one is Field 6?
Field 6 is the baseball field near the skate park,
With the fence or without the fence?
with the fence. Baseball field 6.
Pretty sure that it might be on the one without the fence.
Well, that could be someone else has moved it,
I feel like I've seen it there a lot.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
yeah. I was walking in Neola this weekend, and I had a family that was playing and running on field 6. It's not a field for those things, it's a by permit only field. And it was lined for a leather stocking baseball game on Sunday. And so I went over and explained to them it was a permit only field, they had soccer balls and baseball, they were gonna have fun. And I said, would you please pick another field? There's a soccer field right there, there's a baseball field right there. And they were very nice about it. They said, we'll move, and we weren't going on the lines or anything, and that's fine. And then the father, I'm guessing, ran over to me and told me that we needed to mow the park because there was all kinds of wildlife around, snakes and groundhogs. No, he didn't say groundhogs, he said woodchucks. And if we would mow, they wouldn't be there. So I'm like, okay. I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, have you been in the park? We mow every day. There's something being mowed every single day, so. And we still have woodchucks and snakes, so.
I got one. I
And other wildlife. Other wildlife. So, anyway, I just thought it was kind of funny. I'm like,
Just Googled an Elm Screen, and I know that if we were to procure it, we would have to go through the whole thing, and it may be a different price, but if you want to let them know that an Elm Screen on Amazon is less than $150.
yeah,
And they're portable.
yeah, I know, but some of those portable ones don't hold up to a baseball being hit by an adult. I think we'd have to buy a little bit heavier duty one, but
Sure.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you can get them.
We provide the field, we don't necessarily provide, I mean, they bring their own bats and baseballs and things. But if it's something used by everyone, we might consider putting it on that field, but I didn't even know we had one there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've never heard enough, no one's ever, Cooperstown Baseball World uses that field for 3 and 4 weeks. They have never said to me, Lou, can we have the L screen? They, they want the scoreboard and they want the dugouts, but they've never said L screen, so that surprised me, but whatever.
Okay. So we're good on petitioners, right?
Yes. Sorry to take so much time with that, I didn't mean to.
Yep. And then now Lou, your report?
Well, correspondence, I wanted you to all have the stuff from the YMCA, the pool registrations and fees, and that stuff is there.
We can take these flyers and share them, right?
Yeah, the Y sends them out, so the Y sent them to me. I'm guessing that it's already been released on they have a big distribution list. William Harrison is a gentleman that emailed me, a pretty extensive email. He watched our last meeting, and he was very unhappy with how quickly we dismissed disc golf for Wilbur Park. And I told him that we hadn't made any, I emailed him back and explained that we hadn't made any decisions on what we're doing with Wilbur Park yet, and that if he would like to give me an idea of how, he sent me some other courses in other parks, and I'm like, well, that's great, but I don't really know how that would look in Wilbur Park. So I said, why don't you give me some kind of idea about what you would think a disc golf course would look like in Wilbur Park? And he's working on that. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. So when he gets that, I'll share it with you.
Yes, he appears frequently in the
Oh, I know. He's
very passionate.
yes, he is. And that's a good thing, so.
If I could just interject, I will add too, when I gave a brief report about the summary of the results at council, a couple council members perked up about the idea of disc golf. So
Oh, yeah, it's a very popular thing.
Yeah.
It's very popular. I'm just not convinced Wilbur Park's a place for it, but
No.
Yeah,
We
and
can-
there is a disc golf, just double check, there is a disc golf place at the sports park and exit
Oh, no way.
16.
in where?
At exit 16, there's a disc golf place,
Ah, I didn't know
that
that.
has like a 9-hole disc golf course.
Yeah.
Really?
So like disc golf, like I know you have to pay for it to do that, but I know it's-
I suspect they want it in a park so they wouldn't have to pay for it.
Well,
That's
like, you
probably,
don't go play golf in Wilbur Park, or like,
yeah.
you know what I mean, where
Yeah.
there's people
Yeah.
playing
Mm.
and frisbee, golf ball, people playing, doesn't.
Exit
Yeah.
16.
It takes up
I'm gonna ask him about that one, if he knows that.
Yeah.
so much acreage.
Yes.
And going over there would support a small business, which we always want to support,
There you
a
go.
local business.
Most definitely.
Okay. Do you know?
I know where that is, not that
Yeah,
it's
and
in
so if
that.
you,
It's
it's
right by the river, right there, right?
Yeah.
Right, that little,
right, like if
Yeah,
you're going out
it's-
towards Ford Park, it's right,
it's right in
Yeah,
there before you go
there's a
across the
driveway.
bridge.
Yeah.
Yep, I know exactly where it is. What was that?
Oneonta Sports Park is what it's called.
Okay. Thank you, I'll break that down.
Actually feel better knowing that there is something available.
That there's an option.
I'm completely
I think it's
dismissing
open
the
from like
idea.
11 to 9.
It's a 9-hole, you said?
And I think
Yeah, I believe so.
the golf course out in West Oneonta, I think for a while was doing disc golf. I don't know if they're still doing it.
I have no idea.
I remember
Great
reporting on it.
space to do that. I just don't think Wilbur Park we don't have this space.
Well, let's see what he comes up with before, before we do anything, so.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great way to go forward. If there's
Yeah.
someone in the community
If
who's
he-
passionate about it,
Right.
who can figure it out and bring it.
He
to
certainly
us.
knows more about it. I'll say he probably knows a lot more than I do, so,
Yeah.
about it, so.
Okay.
David Hutchison, who used to be on the environmental board, he's a wonderful guy. And he came to me and said that the environmental board has ordered, now, he's no longer on it, but he knows people on the environmental board. And they've ordered a bunch of trees, elm trees, Liberty elm trees, and they're quite large trees. And they're looking for places to put them. And they were interested in maybe giving some to the park. The environmental board doesn't normally give us trees, we usually do our own thing. And we do have a tree map for both of our parks, or where we want trees in the future and those kinds of things. So I will get together with Greg and the tree map and our master plan for Neowa. I've identified 3 or 4 places that we could put them. One place in particular that I would love, one of the elm trees, is the tree in the park, in Neowa Park, on Veterans Walkway. It used to be 2 or 3 years ago, it was the most beautiful, spectacular tree in the fall. Last fall, the leaves didn't turn color, they all just dropped. And now the tree is without buds. So I suspect it's going out. It looks like a good tree, but it has no buds. It looks like it's in trouble. I'm hoping that we could put an elm there and maybe in a couple other places. But like I said, I want to get together with Greg and look at the tree map, and it would be great to have 3 or 4 trees. They're trees that grow 30 to 40 feet, I think.
Yeah.
So they're good-sized trees.
Good timing too, because we just talked about doing like a controlled cut of trees and stuff.
Yes, we're gonna have to do that, especially in Wilbur.
Can I ask a silly, it's not a silly question, it's something that's been on my mind and it's related to trees. The oldest tree in Neowa Park, the one that you can see through.
Yep.
That had come up last year,
Yes.
maybe?
Yes.
How's that doing?
It's supposedly, well, it has just been evaluated by our arbiter, and it is still a sound tree. So
Okay.
we're doing nothing with it right now. And I can't even read it because you can see right through it. But
It's amazing.
and it has a civilization of squirrels. I mean, you've never seen so many squirrels there. But they love it because you can go all the way through it probably. But it's still a sound tree according to them. And as long as our arbiter thinks it's a sound tree or determines it's a sound tree, it stays.
Awesome.
Who wants to cut down a beautiful tree like that? I certainly don't.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah. Cool. I'm glad to hear that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And David Hutchison also asked about that, so the timing was perfect.
He would.
Yeah, because David does not want to see that tree come down either, so. Do you want me to go on with park updates here? I know you all have read this, I'm just going to try to go through it fast. the Future of Oneonta Foundation and the Susquehanna Greenways, park trail pavement. You probably remember that's going to be the Mill Race Trail east and west, and then they will extend the walkway down along the trees, and actually the area that goes to New Island from Neowell Park. And the company is clearing trees and doing a lot. I had said in my report that the west side of Mill Race Trail is closed. The whole trail is closed now because they're going through and widening things and taking down trees and branches and stuff like taking down trees. That sounds bad. They're removing the trees they have to make this walkway. So 6 to 8 feet is the walkway, I think. Is that right? Yes. Some places it'll be 6 feet, some places it'll be 8 feet wide, which is well within ADA compliant is 4 to 6. So we will be beyond that. So I have not yet, but I will release another PSA letting people know that if you are going to the bike trails, you're going to have to go via another route, not through Neowell Park, because that section is closed right now. So that's why I didn't put it here. I didn't know that till today. I walked through the park and I saw they were working over there as well and had up closed signs. I'm like, well, I'm always the last to know. And there will be an open house not open house, that's wrong, groundbreaking in the park on June 16th. The last I knew, they were looking at 10 o'clock, but I don't have the official word on that yet. But I believe it will probably be at 10 a.m. The city and Destination Oneonta we are all set to go on this movie Encanto. I hope you can all come. I hope we don't get rain. I'm very grateful to Mayor Mark Drenick, who's going to kick it off for us by addressing the moviegoers. He's also loaning us his sound system for that night. And what a guy. And Tina Winsett, who's the director of Huntington, is loaning us their projector. They have a projector that's much more modern than ours. And Hartwick College, because of Katrina, is loaning us their screen for movie night. And the plan is to have our mobile stage up, to put the screen on the mobile stage and show the movie that way.
What a great community effort. You know, all these great community partners coming out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's gonna be a fun thing. And I'm hearing from all kinds of people that want to come, and that's wonderful. And thus, in your packet, you have the concert series. The concert series is part of your packet, and right on the top is movie night.
Right.
So I hope you will all come. And Katie's excited because we're going to have some kids' music. So.
And what a way to end the school year, because that's the last day of school.
The last day of school, that was what was timed, and I have to credit Carrie's daughter. Megan is the one that came up with the movie. She told me pretty fast I was picking the wrong movie, so she corrected me, and we went with Encanto. And I haven't seen it. I'm the only person on Young that hasn't, so.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited about it.
Watched a quarter of it like 15 times.
Yeah. But don't talk about Bruno.
Okay, I also included Greg's email. I thought that was interesting. Greg sent me this, as he says, a bit random, but it was kind of interesting, this park score thing. I would never have guessed this, the information they gave. 49% of the residents in Oneonta are within a 10-minute walk of a city park. And we all knew that those living in the West End, I know because I raised my family there, you are a little bit of a distance. I mean, we don't think anything of it because we hop in the car and drive to the park. But that group, that neighborhood, the colleges and the people living in West End are considerably further from city parks, Wilbur and Neowell especially. And Greg had this great idea that maybe we should create a park down in the Roundhouse area for that. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yes, that would be awesome.
It would be awesome. I know that we're working on Wilbur, so we don't want to get too far off the Wilbur stuff right now, but I think that that's a wonderful idea. There's some interesting statistics there.
I think there might be some environmental reasons why, but I would love to, yeah, there's a serious cleanup that needs to happen, but that space, I would love to do some kind of, like, some kind of, where the path would mimic the roundhouse tracks of the railroad, that kind of thing would be amazing.
I think just developing that area with the
Yeah.
history of
Yeah.
Oneonta,
Yeah.
it would just be wonderful. And having a park in that end of the,
Yeah. that
Well,
would be
and
amazing.
I'm sure we can find grants to mitigate cleanup.
Yeah.
That'd be a problem at all.
Can I ask a question about the park score thing? It's really more of a thought that I had, which is that you had mentioned, Lou, that they didn't take into account, like, for example, Maple Street Park.
yeah.
You know, when I was thinking about that park, again, like you said, I know we're focusing on Wilbur Park, but I would love to see that parking. I mean, it's very passive, right? It's just like a nice little patch of green space for those neighborhoods up there. But I was thinking about some of the things that, like, park users that we sort of already have, that potentially, you know, they apply for a use maybe in Neowak Park. If we could be maybe also considering Maple Street Park. So for example, the thing that I thought of was like yoga people who does yoga in the park. That seems like an activity that's sort of aligned with the passive vibe of that park, that maybe we can offer it as an option. I mean, I feel like we've talked about this, I don't know why, but like a chess league, do we have a chess league? Can we get some people kind of up there using that park? I mean, I do see people in there sitting and reading, which is beautiful. But I was just sort of thinking about when you had mentioned that it wasn't even included in this. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's an outside agency, but I just thought, how can we use that park more too?
Or like a little free library.
Would free library be cool?
Well, and we also talked about expanding the community garden to other spaces too.
Yeah, so like, what is the future of Maple Street Park? I feel like if we learn one thing, and I know we're gonna get there from the Wilbur Park survey, and it's no secret that I'm happy to hear this, is that, you know, each of our parks sort of has an identity, and I think that people like the identity that they hold so far, and so how do we move a park's usage forward while still like honoring what that park, like what personality that park has in our community? You know, so.
I think the biggest challenge with Maple Street Park is parking. I think the other challenge is it's another neighborhood park, and you want to be careful about how, maybe get feedback from those neighbors about what you bring there.
Yeah.
We have had one big event there, and it hasn't, since COVID, it's gone away.
Was that
But the Kleinman
Yeah.
music thing was there. And I think it's because he sort of lives right there. And he had it there, and I think it was successful, and I received no complaints about it. So I think you're right. I think it's another underutilized space. It's a quiet park. There are no restrooms there. That's another concern. But, you know, I'd be reluctant to say, okay, everybody that can't be there, you can go there. How are the neighbors going to respond to that? And I think people don't request it because it doesn't have facilities. It doesn't have cover, it doesn't have restrooms, it doesn't have parking. All of a sudden, they're up against several things. But I think some of that could change. I mean, you know, we just put a restroom at the community gardens.
That's right.
We did. You know,
I don't even
from
know about
the
that.
month of June through the end of October.
No?
I think we need to keep bringing that up, don't let me forget about that, so. And I'm not poo-pooing, and I think we need more information, so.
Sure.
Yeah, once we cover Wilbur
Yeah,
Park, then we
Wilbur
can move on
first.
to.
But when you mentioned parking, I mean, addressing Maple Street Park as a park and, you know, getting it into sort of that kind of use addresses this 10-minute walk to a park. So you wouldn't be parking, you'd be walking.
Well, yeah.
Yes, you would have a point.
I mean, Maple Street is almost as close as Wilbur, I mean, you know, they're pretty close.
It's just,
Yeah.
That goes very
It might be more accommodating to Oneida State, to those students and that population.
And we can have some fun, I think about the the Festival of Lights. Do we put something there as a sort of gateway?
Well, there's no electricity, that would be an obstacle.
Yes.
Everybody would have to bring their own generator.
Just run an extension cord.
Could we plug this into your bathroom?
Al Kleinman would do it because he loves this.
He would.
He loves Oneonta.
He would.
Advocate.
Yes, yeah, so, but let's,
Let's think about it.
yeah,
And to connect it.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yoga to me felt like a natural fit.
No, I think that that's a good one. I think that's a good one.
Serene.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we got, where are we now?
So now we're at, we are looking at more ways to get information and make sure that our trail systems are being a little more looked after. And I've suggested that we meet with members of the bike community. They do a phenomenal job with our trail system. And they are our best reconnaissance, let us know what's going on there, and those kinds of things. They do a lot of cleanup, so we're going to arrange a meeting with them and see if we can get a little bit more connected with them. I'm on their listserv, so I do get a lot of information from them. I get pictures when something needs to be attended to over there. But it's very, very challenging for members of our staff that are working in the parks to get. As you know, it's a tough place to get to, New Island especially. Wilbur Park, a little bit easier to hit all the trails. And that's probably why Wilbur Park trails are in better shape than New Island trails. So, and they're used more. So we're working on that. I'll keep you posted when we have that meeting, after we have that meeting, what we determine. I already told you we placed portable restroom at Community Gardens. I wanted to, Katie, I appreciate you emailing me when you heard from people on Field 4 that couldn't get in the bathrooms. Okay? I just want to, please, if I can impact you on nothing else this evening, I know there's a lot of material here, please, if someone calls you and they have a permit to be in the park and they say, my field isn't lined, the bathrooms are locked, I can't get to what I need to get to, or someone else is on my field, or whatever, please ask them to look at their park permit and make a phone call, because instead of calling you, and then you calling me, and then me calling that number, they can call the number directly. We have a pager system in place, and in off hours, a member of our park staff is carrying that pager. And they will answer. And if they don't answer you, that's when you say, call Lou, and she will call them, because they almost always pick up my call. And they're very good about it. And they will come in, they will call that person back and ask them what the problem is. They will try to help them over the phone. If they can't, they will come into the park and help them. And, we get that sometimes if you rent the large pavilion, and you rent the large pavilion for an activity on Sunday. Sometimes those bathrooms are cleaned usually those bathrooms are cleaned first thing in the morning. So if your event starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes those restrooms need cleaning again. I would hope that they don't, but sometimes that happens. And so they have that number as well, and they can call that, and someone from the park staff will come in. So if you all can do that, not that I mind a call from you, I do not. You did not bother me. You did not.
I didn't know this at all, so now
No, you
I
didn't.
know. It was
And that's why I put it
idea.
here, so that it's clear that it's on their permits, and I email everyone's permits now. I don't mail them, I don't hand them to them, I email so that they have it on their smartphone.
That's smart.
And so that they have this number access, but I will tell you, almost without fail, people don't read their permits. They don't look at them. And they get them and they're like, okay, I got a permit, and they do their thing. And that's okay, but when they need help, they don't always have this number, so. All right, enough said. You got the June calendar, any questions on anything that's coming to the park? I know you all read this thoroughly and have it photographed in your memory, because it's only like 5 pages. Anything, any questions on anything? I do want to mention before we go to the Wilbur Park survey, and I know it's getting late again, I do want to mention that our next Parks and Recreation meeting is Monday, July 18th. I will tell you that right now, I'm getting almost daily calls from people that want to do things in the park. Not new right now, but there will be new requests that come to me between now and July 18th. I'm going to ask your permission if I can please email you and get permission to do this via email. And that means that people will have to respond to the email, or I'm just gonna have to go with either letting someone in the park or not letting them in the park. But if I tell someone, because almost always it happens 2 days after we meet, someone will call me. Almost always. So if I tell them, okay, you can have something after we meet July 18th, that's probably after the request.
Right.
And, you know, new people don't know these things. So I have less, all of our returning users should know that their applications should all be in. Anybody that's requesting it in fall, the application dates pass, they should have, doesn't mean everybody's got their requests in, they don't always. And that's okay, people forget things, I get it. So, but new, returning users don't need your permission, they just need to get the stuff into me and they go. But, you know, inevitably I'll get someone that calls and wants to use Field 6, and they're a new user. If you can give me a little bit of leeway on being able to say yes or no to them. I mean, it's silly for Field 6 to be unused and somebody's making a request, and if they can provide me with an application and insurance, I can send you an email and say, I'd like to let these people on. Is everyone okay with that, or would you prefer?
Yeah. I need to be the wet blanket, you can't make a decision by email.
Okay. Then,
The commission as a whole you can't take a vote by email.
okay, well then.
You can set guidelines that would allow you to authorize, so if the commission says, if they have a approved application, if they have the insurance, if they have X, Y, and Z, then you can grant it, but it can't be, I'm sorry,
So what does that mean? We can't do it then, Karen?
not by email.
So like, you were saying though, could the group say if X, Y, Z, like right now?
If
they
X,
could
Y,
say-
and Z are in place, then we give you the authority as a commission to approve it, then yes, that you can do.
And then you wouldn't have to
We
do
have to do
it,
it here, we can't do it by email.
You would have to do it in public
But you don't
open
have to-
session.
you don't
But-
have to do every single event,
Right.
you can just say like the criteria.
So a week from now, I say, I want to have this great event in the park. It's going to be July 17th. I can give you a completed application, I can give you my insurance, I can give you all of the items that the commission would necessarily review prior to an event. And then, based on a full, complete vetted packet by yourself, the board can grant you the authority to approve it without that meeting.
Okay, well, it's the same, basically the same thing.
It's
You're just
similar.
You're just giving.
You're just giving the
And
authority
it's
in
in
advance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I mean, if you guys are, I'm.
So that's what we have to vote on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we need to make
Yeah.
a motion on
Okay,
that.
yeah, we do.
So I move to give, how do we word that?
Yeah, how can you?
So you could make a motion that with a complete and vetted application packet to include any necessary supplemental materials, that covers like any of the advertising or the insurances that Lou would need, that the commission authorizes Lou to approve events on the commission's behalf.
I mean, and if that was blanket, I mean, do you want to do it just until the next meeting, or?
That's the commission's discretion, but
Could be forever.
But yeah, I'm just saying that, you know, it's 6 weeks till we really
Yeah.
get, it's a long
It's a long
time,
time.
especially in the summer.
Well,
Yeah.
even thinking about, our first presenter, you know, that for her to come today and her event is Saturday because of when our meeting is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just poor timing, and that's when we know, I mean, I tell people a lot of times we only meet once a month.
Yeah.
And inevitably, it's always after we meet that I get the request, so.
Yeah.
So,
The only question I have before you guys make the motion is do you wanna just make it until the next meeting?
Yeah.
why don't we do it?
And I'm okay with
And
that.
then if we think it's, we're gonna need to extend it, then we can
We can
do that at the next meeting as well.
Approve an extension.
I just think because it's such a long period before
Yeah,
we
it
meet,
is, and a lot of events
and a lot of summer.
Yeah.
occurring in a
I'll make a motion to complete for Lou to approve complete vetted packets.
And the Parks and Recreation Commission
Commission
authorized
author-
Lou Lansing to approve the event.
That sound about right? Yeah.
It's all there.
Okay.
That the Parks and Recreation Commission authorized Lou Lansing to approve the event.
Can you use the word deputize?
Do I get a little,
A star.
I want one of those little stars, no.
We grant her overreaching authority.
The rights and privileges there, no.
I mean, that's technically what we're saying, every time you all vote, it's all pending them completing the
Yes.
application
Yes.
and the certificate of insurance and those things, pending doing all the paperwork that they have to
To
do.
approve of this
Yeah.
event, yeah.
Yes.
So,
You need a second?
I'll second.
okay.
Libby,
You
second?
need a vote?
Next time.
And, yes, we'll vote on that.
Any opposition? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
And should that happen, I will email you and let you
Okay.
know
Yeah.
Yes.
that that's happening.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, Karen?
Yes, you can update.
Okay. I will give you that update.
Sorry, I'm no fun.
No, that's okay.
Just keep
It's
us
good.
on the straight and narrow there. We'll wander. It's a park thing.
That's it for me, hallelujah.
Alright, so, and then that's it. Just the survey thing we need to go over. Bits and pieces. Lou, you have your homework done, right? You're three, did anybody else do 3 things they picked that, is that what we're supposed to be doing?
I think you ought to ask each commissioner if they have something, if they're prepared with something or not.
Okay.
No, I have to go with, I know we talked about this before, the tree cleanup. That's what I hear.
We were talking out in the hallway when Beth told me she didn't do her homework, and I suspect we got in the room that everybody else didn't either. And it's a lot. Looking at this, it's a lot. It's a lot of information.
Just trying to read through it, it was like,
I'm wondering if we ought to, and this is just a suggestion, and you guys can take it or leave it, I'm wondering if we should focus on the facilities we have right now and what is in this information that's telling us we need to improve the existing facilities. I think we look at those before we move on to new things.
Yeah, what more we need. I did, the thing that I sort of took away from it in doing my homework,
Good job, Libby. Gold star. She's trying
right?
she's trying to get my star. I know what she's doing.
not, was how many people talked about the natural spaces, and, which I really, that kind of made me think about what I enjoy about the park. And yeah, it's those natural trails and the sort of natural beauty. And I like that idea. Let's look at what we have, the pavilions we have, before we start thinking about adding anything else. Because like you said, each park has a personality, and this is maybe a little more of our wild park.
Totally, yeah.
I never think that's the most positive thing that was said around it too, was like everything else was like, a lot of things that were out of our control, like water temperature and,
Yeah.
paying fees, like I think that, like the fees, like it's a bummer for living out of the town, but city.
They're talking about the pool.
Yeah, that's like, that was like
Yeah.
repetitive, but like the most positive thing was like, it's like beautiful and greens and like
I agree.
the nature aspect of it, I think is the thing that makes it the best part of that park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Right.
people were kind of saying, clean up some of it,
Yeah,
keep it maintained but natural.
I mean,
A lot
there's
of
complaints about
people
the
were
upkeep, but I
complaining
think
about the
that's,
trees.
that's something that's just gonna go up and down throughout any park,
Yeah.
always. Like, there's, nature happens and then,
Yeah.
Yeah, they can
The
take care
trees,
of it, yeah.
trees grow up and then they.
Yeah.
Well, and we were also talking about this in the hallway, there, you know, when you have a natural park that has all kinds of trees, you're going to have trees that come down.
Yeah.
And now you have the, you know, do you clean up all those trees? Or, you know, then you have the other people that, the other idea is you let it naturally decompose, and it supposedly strengthens some of the other trees. I'm not saying I vote one way or another, because I'm not.
Well, as long as it's not over a walkway.
Yeah, as long as it's not a
And
safety
we
hazard.
don't let things grow over the
Yeah,
walkway.
yeah, then-
You know, we take down trees and branches all the time. There's no question in my mind that Wilbur Park needs some cleanup of the woods that's there.
Yeah,
I think
although,
that there's a lot of extra stuff down. And we have a lot of trees that need to come down after the storm, that have been broken. And that really did in a lot of trees in Wilbur Park. And, but when that's going to happen, I'm just not sure.
although this person said, I love this park because it's not groomed.
What?
This one person said, I love this park because it's not groomed.
I know, well,
There's-
Libby, you're not gonna please, I mean.
No, but I don't want that.
Yeah, I know. But a lot of people say that they want that cleaned up, so
Yeah.
there's both ways.
But I thought that was such a nice way to put it, like the wildness of it.
We could
Well,
do it
especially-
English style.
Like I'm a little person, and so like sometimes just like tracing a little bit and seeing like moss and lichens and mushrooms and bugs and stuff, you know. And if you make it too, if you calm the forest too much, then you lose those things.
Yeah.
Like you were saying. So I think there's an opportunity for maybe some nature education in Wilbur Park that's passive, but is a way to interact with the already existing nature of the park.
I think you need to call the Conservation Society and get them on that.
Okay.
But remember, we don't do programming, so,
Oh, no, not programming, like,
Signs.
yeah, signs, how many different types of bugs can you see in this log that is down? Did you know that down logs help reinvigorate the ecosystem, etc.? Little like plaques and things that are, but I agree that the Conservation Association is a good partner, because they can help us come up with all that
they do
language.
things, we have them in the park a couple times in the summertime.
Yeah, we talked
And
about this a little bit.
I think that they are a way to go. I'm a little hesitant about putting up signs and stuff.
But how come?
I just, you
They have
have,
signs.
you have a park that's natural, and now you put up signs everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they do that all the time on the Pacific Coast, though, and it helps kids understand what's going on.
I'm
around
not
them.
saying it's a bad idea,
No, that's
I'm just saying I'm hesitant about it. We've got people that say they want the natural park, and now we put up all kinds of signs. I mean, I don't know what the right way to win is,
Yeah.
but I think the conservation people could help us.
Or even something on your phone, like PDF, and it's just like, how many squirrels did you count?
Yeah.
Just like, here's some of the wildlife we
Or
have.
you
in our
hear
parks.
something that sounds like
Yes.
this, and it's our native bluebird or whatever.
Or even encouraging people, I know that, I think it's the Audubon Society has an app that has
Merlin?
bird sounds, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if we have those as part of our website, like going through our park, here's, download this app to learn what kind of birds we have, and identify them by their
A
songs.
QR code at the entrance to the park, like.
Yeah, that kind of signage.
Which is augmented reality kind of thing. Seriously, think about it, man.
Yeah.
Signs without signs.
Okay.
Okay. Fun.
So kind of in line with that, This is not based on the survey, but I have gotten a couple complaints from constituents about the Fairyland.
About the what?
The fairy.
Fairyland, I'm so sorry to say, and I know there's a lot of love for the Fairyland in this room, but I've gotten some complaints from dog walkers that dogs will try, like, they don't take their dogs on that loop anymore because their dogs will try to, like, pick up a little piece of whatever.
What might be, because I
So I just wanted to share that feedback.
Well, I saw a couple people complain about the plastic, and I wonder if there's a way, again, in a sort of educational component, to partner with an organization to show how to build little Fairyland pieces out of
Natural materials.
Yeah.
Or, you know, people build birdhouses, so could they build a little, like a fairy cottage?
I wonder if, like, the library is always doing sort of interactive stuff, maybe they could have, like.
We're doing 2 of them this summer. The Huntington Library.
Is doing 2 of what?
2 outdoor programs for children in the park.
Oh, in art parks?
Yeah,
Cool, yeah, I was
they did it
thinking.
last year, and they're doing 2 this year.
Okay.
And
They do like, at the library, they do like little
Oh,
classes
yeah.
for, like they just did container gardening, and maybe they would be a good partner.
Yeah.
Like, make something for Fairyland, and it's.
And we could start transitioning people away, letting people know, like,
Plastic,
we're
yeah.
moving towards more natural materials. Please don't leave plastic. It will be picked up
Yeah.
and disposed of.
I think that would solve the dog problem too, because
Yeah.
if it's like sticks and moss,
Yeah.
your dog's gonna get into that anyway, but it's
So-
like little, like trinkets, you know, when
Yeah.
your dog swallows that.
And I would encourage, dog walkers, I would encourage that those dog walkers have their dogs on leashes, because that's happening a lot that they aren't.
Yes.
And I see a lot of dogs in Wilbur Park especially that are off leash. And I would love to tell their owner that, but sometimes I don't see their owner.
Wild.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think they're wild.
No,
The owners are wild.
maybe.
I know what you're saying, but
Lou, at the end of the season, has the cleanup of Fairyland been complete? Who's been cleaning that up? The people who have
I think
Or-
before they close the park, I can't say for sure, but I think the guys are going through and cleaning up. But I will tell you that they are reluctant to pick those things up because they pick them up and then people get mad. You know, people will say, we built this great Fairyland and it's cleaned up.
Well, now there's a sign.
I know,
Did we put that sign there?
I think so. I don't know for sure.
Who would have done it?
Whoever started the fairy.
possible?
I don't
A lot of
think we
times
did.
people do put things in the park that they haven't got permission for. So, I don't know, I can't
So
say
it
for
isn't
sure.
a city thing, that's what I was asking.
I don't
Does the
know
city do
for
it?
sure.
Oh.
I don't know that we have. I think if we put up a sign,
We didn't talk about it.
they would have told me.
Yeah, right, yeah, you would know.
I think they would have told me.
Well, and is that something that we should put up a sign that says, you know, like, here are,
Yeah.
you know, natural materials only, like we do at the dog park, or like we did at the basketball courts, you know. These
Like
are,
we did at Field 6 that
Yes.
people ignored.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, yeah.
and then it's really at their own risk, like, if your toys get thrown out, like, we told you not to leave them.
I understand that. I'm not opposed to it. I just think you have to make a decision how many signs you're gonna put in the park.
Yeah, and I think,
I will tell you, I'll give you Hodges Pond as a perfect example. I probably 3 times a week ask people not to fish in Hodges Pond. And the question they always ask me first is there a sign? Yes, on that post, and on that post, and on that post. And is it not at eye level? Yeah, it's not at eye level. Should we put it at eye level? Maybe we should. How many signs are we going to put up? I think probably the answer is we need more signs. And I think it won't be long before people are coming to the commission and saying, why are you putting up so many signs in the park? You know, so it's a fine line. People don't know the rules of the park. There are still people that smoke in the park. The park has not allowed smoking for 4 years now. There's still people, I mean, how else can fresh cigarette butts get in the park unless people are doing it now? You know, I asked a gentleman the other day if he knew that there was no smoking in the park, and there were some adjectives that happened that probably I can't repeat here, or I shouldn't. But, you know, and they say to me, well, there's no sign. You know, I'm just saying that,
Yeah. But I think, like, again, like having workshops, having a solution, and having an alternative, rather than saying, like, you can't put plastic down here anymore. But saying, hey, this is what we're moving to, and here's where you can learn to do it, and making it
Yeah, I think-
like an activity and something fun rather than punitive.
I think partnering with the Conservation Society, they may have some ideas that we don't have. I think getting something on people's phones is a brilliant idea. Don't ask me to do it, but, you know, because I wouldn't have any idea, but I think it's a way to start. They may have ideas. I understand that we don't want plastic things there, and I'm just reluctant. Children are outside in the parks doing fun things. I'm just reluctant to say to them, you can't do it.
Yeah, and that's why I think, like I said,
If you give them an alternative, I think that that's the answer.
Yeah.
You know,
and have the workshop in the park, like in one of the pavilions, so that they're in the space, and then afterwards they can go and they can.
and
Set it.
maybe the Conservation Society could, or department would even have a Fairyland building day, you know, and they are providing natural materials or to build those things. I think it's a brilliant idea. You know, and Huntington Library may also want to partner on that.
Yeah,
Fairyland.
Fairyland has really kind of languished this year. It's
Yeah.
very slow to get started. So,
Sun's out. People are doing other things.
Yeah, spring started so late, and
yeah.
if you put something up in April, it's gone, got washed away.
So another thing that people bring up a lot is the lighting
Yes, that was
in Wilbur Park.
controversial.
And there's two trains of thought on that. You know, we have just installed a whole bunch of new lighting in Wilbur Park. And new, I mean, we've replaced a lot of the lights that are there with LEDs. And we have put up a couple of new lights, one especially on the walkway to the high school, because that's a pathway that children are walking in the winter, and it needs to be lit. And we do have some neighbors that have complained about more lights in the park, and they don't want them. And those lights are especially trained to go down, not out. So, you know,
Yeah.
I'd love to see I'd love to see Wilbur Park close earlier, and I've already said that, but I don't, again, how do you enforce that? You can't go with chains and lock the park up. I mean, we do that in the wintertime because we don't clean that park, and it's difficult. But,
Yeah, I mean, I like walking in the park as it's starting to get a little, as the sun's setting.
do you like walking at night in the park?
Not like deep at night, but, if we leave the
Well, it's
house.
open till 10:30.
So-
I think that that's late.
That's a little late, I was thinking.
I think that that's late, but some people like to walk their dog there at night. You know, if I take my dog out for a night stroll, maybe they're going at 10:30. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
No,
suspect
usually-
some are probably going after that, so.
Yeah, I'm usually there 8 o'clock at the latest, because otherwise I want to be in my pajamas home watching TV.
Yeah, I think that's a hard move to close the park early. I think it's a bad idea, but I had to say it.
One of these days, I know some people have talked about the playgrounds. I meant to send out pictures, I'll have to find those. There is a really, really cool playground at the park in Oklahoma City. And one of the things is, it's like a kind of a rubber hill that you can just climb up. There's no structure, it's a hill. And they run up it and they run down it. I think there's a slide on one side, but kids were just running up and down, up and down.
There's
And-
all kinds of wonderful
I know.
playgrounds out there.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, those two playgrounds that are in the park have just recently been added. Both playgrounds
yeah.
have just been redone, so You know, and I will tell you with the playgrounds, we need shade obstacles on the playgrounds, and those are things that are on our master plan.
Yes.
The slide in Neowa Park gets fry eggs hot. And I would rather see us do that with money, shade obstacles, but yeah, there's a lot of cool, I get all kinds of magazines with all these cool things, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could.
We were
do
taking
that.
so many pictures, I was like, I have to tell everybody.
Yeah.
That said, I think all the millennials among us know what it's like to burn your legs on a hot slide. It builds character.
Yeah, I do kind of miss all the
Every single one.
trap, like
Yeah.
the old like bumblebee. That's like
Oh, yes.
so
I miss those too.
The merry-go-round?
Yeah, you go so fast that you fly off or something.
Just took the one, there was a park by my grandmother's place in Oklahoma City, and they just took it, I was there when I was there in 2015. It might have been there when I was there in 2017. I think they just took it out.
Wow.
nice.
One more thing on lighting. Would you like to have Chris come in and talk about lighting next in Wilbur Park specifically, or are you good? Good. Trevor's like, no. Okay.
I'm always over here, but everybody.
All right, another complaint in looking at existing things, another complaint is roadways. Roadways do need some repair.
They're just patched, right? Patch.
Yes, yes. And with Neowa's master plan, we are putting in sidewalk this fall and getting people out of the road. I think that's a big one. But that's not Wilbur Park, sorry, I had to just say it, so.
So in Wilbur Park, can you drive up and around the large pavilion?
No,
Not good.
No.
Oh, that's much better.
Can't.
I think
There's
so.
that fence there,
Yes.
the black fence.
Anything else?
Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet. The restrooms. That was something.
Restrooms, yes, you're right.
That was like the one that stood out to me as a facility that for sure could use it.
The restrooms in Wilbur Park, I mean, Neowa has 4 different places to use restrooms. Wilbur Park has the pool, which isn't open now, and the large pavilion. That's it.
And they're rough.
There are bathrooms at the tennis courts, but we did keep those bathrooms when we repaired, when we rejuvenated them, updated them. We kept them as just for the users who rented those facilities, the tennis courts. We could certainly open those bathrooms. We could certainly open those bathrooms and help out. I think we should, seeing as how there are no restrooms on the lower level with Wilbur Park pool closed. So that's an idea. We do need more restrooms in Wilbur Park, there's no question.
I feel like even just if the ones that were there were a little bit nicer,
Expanded.
expanded. Are they? Yeah, I'm not sure how accessible they are.
Better lit.
Better lit for sure. And let's talk about lighting in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to look at restrooms, for sure. Make improvements in lighting and facilities.
So Lou, typically the restrooms down by the tennis courts are not generally open for public use.
They are not.
They are.
They are keyed and not left open, but we could open them.
I think it's probably.
Because right now, the only ones that use them are Oneonta High School when they open it. And Oneonta High School doesn't use them a lot because they don't open until May. Oneonta High School always rents a restroom for their tennis. And then Hartwick uses them in the fall when they rent the facility. So that's basically all that use them, so we could certainly open them now, especially until the pool opens. I think it would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I will ask the guys to open those up. If you're okay with it.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. Good.
At tennis courts. So maybe for the next meeting, and I don't want to jump in here, maybe for the next meeting, we could look at what we all think about new facilities in Woolworth. Would that be okay? Would that narrow this down a little bit? And maybe we should also, before we do new facilities, we ought to review the pool, the comments on the pool, if there's anything that you think we need to do with the pool.
Can I just piggyback off of what you were saying in regard to new facilities?
Yes.
Just thinking outside the box about different ways to interact with the park. So not just like sports and where can we fit it, or an activity and where can we fit it, like, you know, I think, you know, maybe it's not science, but I feel like we're sort of onto something with thinking about how nature is the character of that park and how do we emphasize that a little bit more. So I just would encourage everybody to think outside the box a little bit when you're thinking about facilities. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
And if you all think we need more signs, I mean, we can put
No,
up.
I get it. We'll find the balance on that. Cause like,
I think we can put up rustic signs instead of metal signs. I think,
Sure,
I
yeah.
think they can be more wood themes and,
I think there are just different types of parks, and so
I agree.
obviously we're not trying to turn Wilbur into Neola, but I think that's, you know, yeah, so we just have to think about it differently.
You ever been on the hiking trails at Greater Plains that go up the hill, Greater Plains? Like, when you go through there, there's little plaques
yep,
that,
trail markers.
well, no, not the trail markers, there's little plaques that tell you what different types of trees you're walking by and stuff like that. Like, I
Oh.
think that's the idea.
Yeah.
But they're like,
They have
it's
that
not
on the
like-
Greenway too.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like a metal
Plants.
sign with like a green thing
Yeah.
sticking in there, like it's
Right.
like, just a nice little, like, most
Yeah.
people walk right by them, but if you're in there, like, enjoying the woods and like, whatever, it has like the leaf and like what it looks like and what they're known for. Which
Yeah.
is interesting. Like, is that what you're?
Yeah, if we did
100%.
something like that, and maybe the Conservation Department or Huntington Library could maybe next summer have a scavenger hunt for kids
Yeah.
and identify, see how many of these things that you can, you
Yes.
know, I think it'd be great for Willow Park. I
Yes.
think it'd be great.
You could tie it in with like the tree thing, the tree donation too. Is that just for Neowam Park or is that?
Tree donations?
Yeah, that we were talking about earlier.
They were talking about Neola, and I didn't ask him about Wilbur because there's so many things we want to do in Wilbur right now, and, you know,
Yeah.
we are gonna take down trees in Wilbur, and we're gonna replace some trees in Wilbur.
Yeah.
So that's already on the agenda, so.
I mean, as long as we're thinking about this, one of the things that fascinates me about Wilbur Park, and I spent a lot of time in Wilbur Park, is just that there are these vestiges of when it was, the time before it was a park, right? Like, and there's these stories that there used to be part of it that was a zoo, and there's part of it, and there's a walkway going down to sort of a flat open space that you can only see from the other side of the creek. And so there's all these kind of remainders of its old status as, was it the Wilbur family's expanse, I don't know what it was. But it seems like, and there's a common theme here, that the Oneonta pattern, I think, is to just sort of let those things lie and then not really draw any attention to them. But we have so many cool things layered on top of other cool things, that it seems like there's a real opportunity there to understand the history of this beautiful little city and the role that the parks play in this beautiful little city. Like, there's all these roads going up over the backside of the mountain behind Wilbur Park. And they're on old maps, and I'm kind of rambling here. But my point is just that we have, we just have so many different kinds of ways of approaching these parks. That there's the natural beauty part of it, there's the historical aspect of it, there are, we could talk about, I don't know.
The sports aspects.
Yeah,
the-
sports
the,
and,
you know,
yeah, all of
community
this.
gathering aspects and, yeah. So,
Yeah, I don't think we have to add something new and cool. I think we just need to develop what's there a little bit. I
Yeah.
agree,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And Trevor, what got me thinking about it was that patch behind Greater Plains Elementary School,
Yeah.
where there's that big concrete wall, and it's like, what the hell is this?
Shooting range.
Is that it?
It was a shooting range.
but like, we've got no marker there, or we don't, like, so you know that.
So, well, if you look at it, there's bullet holes in it. I think it's the old police shooting range, it's a big cement wall, and now it's covered in graffiti, but, yeah,
Yeah,
but it is interesting.
We could do, maybe make a little parks Easter egg map.
yeah.
Yes, that sounds fun. I have two things. One is a question and one is an announcement, kind of. Speaking of new facilities in Wilbur Park, Telephones of the Wind is a real thing that is happening. They have the phone, and BOCES has built like a little shelter. Thank you, Lou, for guiding Bernadette through that process. They're gonna do a ribbon cutting on Tuesday, June 14th. I think it's at 1:30, but let me check that and tell you for sure. I'm gonna email all of you guys the invite. Public is invited. And so, yeah, if you guys wanna come and check it out, it'll be there after June 14th. But yeah, she's gonna have like, some, like a speaker maybe and a singer, I don't know. It's gonna be a whole thing. So if you guys wanna come. I don't know if she's gonna use the big scissors, no guarantees.
Where
Is
is
it
the
already
final
done?
location? It's on the lower level,
Okay.
and it's diagonally across from the small pavilion there.
Like away from the creek.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a good example of a facility that speaks to the nature of that park, because it's like a quiet, sort of solitary activity. You know, the more I think about it, like disc golf is so active. Secondly, it's like, oh boy. Yeah, it's interesting. Just interesting, like you were saying, to think about the different parks and their character and the ways that we can highlight that if we're really thoughtful about it.
Yeah. That's why I want to be careful with plastic fairyland, because we're adding plastic phones.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. I mean, I would make
Well,
that.
I'm just saying, if we're
But I
gonna
get it,
say
I
we're
get
gonna
it.
get away from
Yeah.
plastic, and now and I support the phone of the wind. It's not that I don't, but I just wanna be careful. We don't want,
Well, the phone is a plastic that can't be ingested, whereas
Yeah.
little fairy
Yes.
plastics can be ingested.
And they're just like
if somebody
glittering.
tears the phone down,
Then it would probably get ingested.
yeah. I mean, I'm hoping,
Eating our phone, we got a bigger problem.
I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but, you know, I don't know.
I think.
I like kids in the park. Whether they've got plastic figures or not.
Oh, yeah.
The second thing was about the armory. Could you tell me a little bit more about the armory?
What would you like to know about the armory?
Like what are we using it for right now? What's
It's
its life like?
it's used to the max in the wintertime.
Yeah.
For recreational
That makes
activities.
sense.
Basketball,
Mhm.
Blendo's basketball has leagues there.
Yeah.
PVA volleyball, well, it's changed from PVA volleyball, I'm sorry, it's changed to YMCA
That's
volleyball.
right.
On 2 nights a week. And then all the other days and hours around those two things is youth soccer. Oneonta Youth Soccer
No
Program.
way, inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's also people on a teen side.
That's right.
I get people all the time that call me and say they want to be in the armory, and I'm like, well, if you can go from 7 in the morning till 4 at night, yes. After that, it's booked, solid, in the wintertime.
And yeah, when does that usually like start and end? Like what's the armory season?
The armory season starts, YMCA volleyball has it booked already for the fall. They're having a fall league.
Cool.
They've just had a winter league in the past, now they're having a fall league.
Monday, Tuesday nights.
And Blendo's basketball goes almost year round, don't
Yeah.
they, Carrie?
Cool, good.
And soccer, Oneonta Soccer Club goes in there usually December 1st, I think, and then they go to March. Volleyball usually comes in there in January, and they go till the first or second week of April,
Okay,
and now in the fall.
cool.
So
And during the summer, does anybody?
during the summer, to my knowledge, Blendo's might still use it in the summer.
Occasionally.
Yeah, I think they have a tournament every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's a facility that does not have air, so it's a warm scenario in the summertime. It's sometimes warm in the wintertime, I mean, very warm.
Yes.
It's one of those boilers that when it gets hot, it's hot. And when it's not, it's cold.
Gotcha.
So,
Cool, yeah, I was just
it's
wondering
a
about it,
great
and I was like,
old,
I
it's a
know
great
we'll
old
ask.
building. I know it's very expensive to operate and to have, but it's just a cool old building.
Yeah, totally.
Even the bats are cool.
And we
and I
bought it
hate
for
bats.
$1, right?
Huh?
We bought it for $1 or something.
Contract wise, we bought it for $1.
Yeah.
Yes. From the state.
And there's fees, so the city has a fee structure for use of the
Yes.
facility.
Yes. It's $15 an hour for the organizations that use it across the board.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I was just wondering about it, and I knew you would know, so.
It's really nice in the wintertime. It's nice to have an indoor space that people can use
Yeah,
because you cannot get, I know when we created PVA volleyball, when it no longer was run by the Y, we could not find an indoor space other than the Armory. And the city was so good to let us use the Armory. We couldn't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
No other gym was available, including we even tried the old St. Mary's gym. Not available. So,
yeah, interesting.
I like that, all right, it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I wanted to do the volleyball, but it's Monday and Tuesday nights, and I was like,
Any other business that we need to,
that was it for
that
me.
is it? Okay. Motion to adjourn?